Hi everyone, and welcome back to Disposable Entertainment. I was forced to take a break from YouTube as I started a new tattoo business, and now that the shop is up and running smoothly, I've got time for YouTube again, and I couldn't be more excited. I've missed doing this so much, so to anyone new to my channel, please give it a subscribe, it would be much appreciated. Well, we're here to discuss one of my most anticipated games of the year. I find it quite ironic, as both of my most anticipated games of the year, which were Scorn and the Callisto Protocol, are both absolutely terrible in the most pure sense. I know it's not right to come out swinging in the beginning of my review, but this game is hot garbage. It's so sad that you have some of the creators of the original Dead Space here in the mix, because they had a blank canvas to recreate the original vision in the best way possible. My vision of their recreation would be Dead Space 1, but even more engrossing and vile, more scary, and an even higher level of atmosphere, exploration, anxiety, and overall polish. But what we're given was a bland attempt at being scary or intense. Bland is a strong word because I think it's even more mediocre than bland. The story is non-existent. You crash land on a planet and are arrested straight away, and the next thing you know, you're in prison that looks like it's been destroyed from the inside out. Your mission is to escape the prison, and that's it. That is it. If the game gave you more choices as to what paths you want to take, that would have been great. But this title might as well draw a straight line from start to finish. There is absolutely no exploration or even puzzles, which are almost a mainstay in the horror genre. And don't get me started on calling this game a survival horror game. If that's what you're expecting, you'll be seriously disappointed. Yes, there's a few jump scares, but they're not scary at all. They're more of an irritation than anything else. When you finally start seeing enemies, it seems like it's going to be a fun ride. But after killing 10 enemies or so, you end up thinking to yourself, please don't let this be the entire game. And sadly it is. Dead Space had you using all sorts of guns and combat techniques, while Callisto might as well be put into the hack and slash genre, which is odd because I absolutely love the majority of hack and slash games. But the way they present it to you is lackluster and leaves much more to the imagination. You're presented with a simple dodge mechanic in which you press left or right to dodge and sometimes pressing back to block, which I never used as it was easier just to dodge. You get thrown into a loop where you are auto-targeted on an enemy and you smash your way through, then you dodge, rinse and repeat. It gets old very quickly. Later, you're given a glove that lets you use telekinesis a la Dead Space, but doesn't have half the usage options as Dead Space. I'm sorry that I keep bringing up Dead Space, but that's how this game was advertised. This was supposed to be the new Dead Space for the new generation. Anyway, let's just get back to the combat. The lock-on system is completely broken. You have no choice as to who you want to attack. The game's terrible AI decides for you. By that time, you are mauled by enemies from behind you, which to me is a game breaker. I understand some games being hard and that you have to get good to be able to better your performance, but this game doesn't let you have that option. You're sometimes hit from behind and there's almost no way out, as you are already in the combat selection of one enemy and then destroyed by another. I did enjoy the parts where you are given a short window to shoot your enemies while in the middle of an attack, but why not leave it in the player's hands completely? Why not let us decide which way we want to enter an area of enemies and decide for ourselves how the area will be played? Instead, you are thrown into a terrible combat loop with deathly consequences. The only way to learn the attack patterns is to die and try a different approach. Some might find that enjoyable. I find it irritating to say the least. Another thing that happens is later on in the game, some enemies grow tentacles and you have to shoot the tentacles before they mutate into a stronger enemy. The window in which you have to shoot these tentacles is so small that you might as well just ignore it and just keep wailing away and dodging. Hack/dodge, hack/dodge, rinse repeat, rinse repeat. It's as if the creators decided to make this the most mundane combat mechanic possible. I'm almost in a state of disbelief that this is what we were given. I'm not surprised that the people that got given early review codes were not allowed to release their reviews until the game's actual release. If the reviews came out beforehand, the sales of the game would have bombed. I'm not saying that the sales are good to start off with, but like I said in the beginning, this was one of my most anticipated games of the year, even countering God of War. That's how much I'm a fan of the Dead Space world. The creators should be ashamed. If they knew they had a good game, they would have let everyone post their reviews in their own time, not limited to an after-release window. My playthrough was on PC, and I heard that the PC port wasn't that great. But man, was I shocked even after the 60 gig update. The game stutters and makes things more annoying than fun. I've heard that the PS5 and Series X ports are smooth as butter, but I refuse to spend another cent on this game to get better performance on another console. But it's not the performance that ruins the game for me. It was the actual game that was the letdown, if I had to say it nicely. If I had to be honest, this is one of the greatest fails in gaming in years. They had everything to make this game amazing and special to be granted many sequels. I doubt we'll be receiving any kind of sequel. If there is a sequel down the line, I will wait for a big sale before spending my hard-earned money on this mess of a game. The only good thing I can say about this title is the graphics. Putting the glitches aside, obviously. The game looks phenomenal. The lighting and atmosphere is top notch. Just not the atmosphere you want in a survival horror game. And I say survival horror very loosely, as this is far from survival horror. This is a boring, terrible mess. I find it so unsettling that the creators were given the keys to the castle, and what they delivered was absolute trash. They could have started a new franchise that would rival the original trilogy. I played Dead Space 3 for one of my previous reviews to see if it was as bad as everyone said it was. I actually enjoyed it a lot. Compared to the Callisto Protocol, Dead Space 3 is Citizen Kane in quality. So with that said, and the gameplay that you've seen in this video and other videos, will you be picking it up? If I were you, I'd wait for a sale, but that's just me. But anyway, thanks to everyone that stayed till the end of my rant instead of a review, because I refuse to review this game properly. If you liked this video, please leave me a like, a comment, or even subscribe. But for now, we'll be seeing you in the next episode of Disposable Entertainment.